cohesion effect. If they catch you, they will pull you apart. If I fail, they'll copy.
Tom Cruise as Claus von Stauffenberg in a Hollywood movie about the failed 1944 plot to assassinate Adolf Hitler. In early post-war Germany, no one would have dreamt of dramatizing these events, not least because society was still riddled with former Nazis, and many of them saw Stauffenberg as a traitor to his country, an officer who had committed high treason. Johannes Tuchel from the German Resistance Memorial Center in Berlin says that Germany has never quite known what to make of Stauffenberg's role. It's only now that a less ambivalent view of the German resistance is emerging.
Today, his image is a positive one. In the post-war period, he was considered a traitor, a coward, a man who betrayed Germany. The process of recognizing that resisting the Nazis was actually a very patriotic act has been a long and painful one.
Jedes Problem auf der Welt ist lösbar durch den sorgsamen Einsatz von Sprengstoff.
Hitler's Wolf's Lair headquarters in East Prussia in summer 1944. A meeting between the Führer and his military leaders scheduled to take place in the bunker was unexpectedly rescheduled to a wooden hut.
If the explosion had taken place in the bunker, it would have been much more effective. The wooden barracks were much flimsier, so the explosion was less concentrated inside. As you can see in the picture we have here, the room was completely destroyed. What happened was that Hitler was shielded from the full force of the explosion because he was seated behind a heavy wooden desk.
Wanting to place the bomb as close as he could to Hitler, Stauffenberg positioned the briefcase under the oak conference table. On July 20th, 2004, exactly 60 years after the failed assassination attempt, the German army commemorated Stauffenberg and other resistance fighters in Berlin at the place where Stauffenberg was executed by the Nazis on July 21st, 1944. The Bundeswehr, which was founded by opponents of Hitler, has always publicly stood by the German resistance. But behind closed doors, not everyone toed that line.
This was a controversial issue in the Bundeswehr. The Bundeswehr is an army that was founded on the principle of reform, namely the concept of internal leadership. Not everyone accepted this principle, and the army's stance on military resistance was also controversial. But on the whole, it's fair to say that the Bundeswehr adopted a positive stance on the German resistance earlier than other sectors of society, because that was what its upper echelons wanted.
For decades, only families of the officers involved in the assassination plot took part in the annual commemoration ceremony. But in recent years, the event has been more high profile. On the 60th anniversary, both the German president and then chancellor were in attendance, paying their respects to Stauffenberg's 90-year-old widow, Nina. A biography of Nina von Stauffenberg, written by her daughter Constanze, was recently published. Constanze never knew her father, but she does remember growing up in the post-war years as the youngest daughter of the man who tried to kill Hitler.
I went to school in a small village for 3 years and everyone knew all about it. But no one ever talked to me about it when I was a girl. Later I went to high school in Bamberg, which my mother had also attended. No one talked about it there either. The other students weren't interested. They were only interested in Elvis Presley. I was a normal teenager. It wasn't the sort of thing we talked about.
If they had, Constanze would have had some ready answers.
My father was never a fervent Nazi. He wasn't a Nazi at all. He was a fervent soldier. That was his identity. He loved his job very, very much.
As a soldier, he was supposed to defend the fatherland. To him, that meant saving it from the tyranny of Hitler's regime. even if it put his family's lives in danger. Today, Stauffenberg is seen as a hero, but it took Germany a long time to overcome its doubts about this man and his motives.
It was only in the 1990s that people became more aware that it was actually very important for our political culture to be able to point to the fact that not all Germans followed Hitler and that there were some people across society who tried to stop him.
At the time, Hitler pledged to wipe out the Stauffenberg family. But more than 40 descendants of Claus von Stauffenberg are still alive today.